So, friends, yesterday's session we have seen arranging funds for the capital expenditure, capex activities. A small portion was left over, that is financing for OPEX, operational expenditure. And yesterday I made it very clear that what comes under operational expenditure, anything which is essential to run your business and which you can show as an expenditure for income tax department to income tax department for the purpose of calculation of your tax. Okay, so payment of interest, salaries, all those things come under operational expenditure. We call them as opex. So when we say capital budgeting or capex is related to investments, this particular part in financial management is called working capital management. So this working capital is nothing but the funds needed to run the business. So for startups, what sort of options available when it comes to arranging funds for their working capital? First one is trade credit. As you all know, most of the business houses, they run their business on credit basis. Without selling goods on credit, it is very difficult to do their business. I'm not talking about business to the customer, but business to the middleman. Now, friends, there is one concept that Unilever follows when it gives it goods to its distributors. Okay, they say it is 2 by 10 net 30. 2 by 10, I repeat, it is 2 by 10 net 30. So, can anyone guess what is the meaning of this 2 by 10 net 30 when Unilever gives its goods to its distributors? So, 2 by 10 net 30 means, suppose if you are a distributor of Unilever, they will give you their close-up toothpaste to you to sell, and you can keep those toothpaste with you for 30 days. After 30 days, if they are unsold, return the goods. If you are able to sell them, pay the money. Okay, so you are getting goods on credit basis. Then what is this 2 by 10? If you are able to pay HUL within first 10 days of receiving the goods on credit itself, then you are eligible to receive a special discount of 2%. So, which is why they call it as 2 by 10 net 30. So, all these startups, when they need some sort of raw material, etc., they get them on credit. So, which we call it as trade credit from the suppliers, and then they put these raw materials in process, come out with finished goods, sell them in market, get the money, and then pay the money back to the suppliers. Now, this is very, very common. Even you can superimpose to any big company. If you look at the recent airliners, which were, companies like Jet Airways and which were grounded, they also borrowed so many raw materials like, aviation turbine fuel from Indian Oil Corporation on trade credit basis only. Okay, so this practice is very much common. So for the working capital requirements, startups can definitely explore this option. And then second one is advance receipts. Just recollect what you have done when you have booked a flat. Is it a concept that uh, you get the delivery of flat and only then you make entire payment? No. While booking the flat itself, you have to pay some amount upfront as advance. Okay. So we have to understand what sort of businesses undergo this kind of practice. Now, if somebody is manufacturing a product. The product which they are manufacturing can either be a standardized product or a customized product. Now let us compare between one steel plant and one shipbuilding company. Steel plant comes out with standardized products, bars, plates, sheets, and all. Okay, so they try to sell these products and there will be n number of buyers in the market. Whereas shipbuilder receives order from one particular agency and then builds a ship as per their requirements. So they take advance money to start production, and after completion of every stage agreed, which we call milestone billing. After completion of every particular stage, they get the remaining balance amount. So this is called advance receipt. Now, sorry, third one is working capital loans. Just like the long-term loans given by the companies, either banks or non-banking finance companies, again they lend money to meet the working capital needs. Remember, normally these working capital loans are unsecured only. In my yesterday's session, I told you that when somebody is borrowing funds from financial institution by issuing a debt security, either it is a secured debt or unsecured. Usually, working capital loans are unsecured, which is why interest rates on working capital are slightly higher. Okay, so banks and financial institutions, they have to lend. There is something called priority sector lending, which is mandatory as per the norms of RBI. If a bank is located in a rural area where agriculture is the prominent part of economy, then minimum 40% of the loans which it sanctions must go to agriculture. Similarly, when a bank branch is established in an industrial area, minimum 40% of the loans that this particular branch dispenses must go to industries only. This is a rule as per RBI, so which we call it as priority sector lending. Okay, so banks definitely lend money. The only thing is it must be in industry status. If you could recollect movies that you are watching these days, what is the very first slide that you see when you watch a movie, friends? Very first slide that you see? Yes, friends.
Kindly answer,
Yes,
please.
please. The very first
Generic
slide that
question.
you see when you are watching a movie.
Production name.
Production name. Before that, sir, they say they come out with,
Disclaimer.
madam, uh, we are thankful to so and so bank. Why? Sir, certification is common. Okay. Now, uh, we are thankful to so and so bank. Just look at 30 years ago. Were you able to find those kind of slides? No. Why? 30 years ago, films were not given industry status by Ministry of Commerce because films were not recognized as industry. Most of the production houses were depending on A company, D company, C company. I hope you understood what when I said A, B, C, D company, okay, to fund their movies. So the funding cost was so high and there were so many demands and obligations which they had to meet. But thankfully now films are given industry status. Therefore, even if you want to make a film also, you can get lending from banks. Okay. So any startup which you are thinking about, the only thing which you have to see is whether this business gets qualified as industry or not. If the answer is yes, if it gets qualified as industry, definitely you can get loan from financial institutions. Okay, so this is one. And the next one is letter of credit, LOC. So what is this letter of credit? Now you are buying some material from a supplier, either in domestic market or from international market. But you don't have money to pay upfront for the supplies. Then you can request your banker who can give this letter of credit to stand as a guarantor. So this LOC in a way works as a guarantee, saying that so and so company is my customer. If they are not able to pay money to you by so and so date, we will pay. Of course, for issuing these LOCs, banks do charge certain percent amount of money of the total amount agreed as their charges, which is still better. Instead of borrowing funds from unorganized sector at very high interest rates, companies can explore these sort of options also. And then commercial papers. Are you aware of what treasury bills, friends? Treasury bills, what do they mean? Treasury bill. Okay. Imagine a scenario where in the general budget, government expected to receive certain amount of money as tax collections, which is the primary revenue of the government. But unfortunately, due to some reasons, due to bad climatic conditions and poor domestic demand, whatever it may be, if the tax collections are less, but the government financial commitments are always there, so there is a shortage of funds, then government will issue, yes, it's kind of promissory note. Okay, treasury bills are a kind of note issued by government to raise funds from the public to repay them within a maximum period of 364 days. Okay, so these generally come as 81 days or 162 days or 364 days, something like that. So these treasury bonds, treasury bills, we call them as T bills, are the bonds issued by the government to bridge the gap for its short-term requirements. Similarly, if a business organization requires money for a short-term period, the maximum is 180 days, 180. Then they can issue this bond called commercial paper. These commercial papers are issued at a discount and repaid at par. Just to tell you very simply how they work, suppose the face value of a bond is 1 lakh and you are saying the discount rate is 10% and it is for 6 months. So on 1 lakh, 10% means 10,000, but this is per year. For 6 months, it will be 5,000. So people who are interested, financial institutions which are interested, they will give you today 95,000 rupees and you will give them this commercial paper, which we call them as CP, commercial paper. And after 6 months, they will produce this CP to you and you have to pay them 1 lakh. So during this 6 months period, no interest is paid. So they are issued at discount and repaid at full. Okay. So it is exactly similar to treasury bills. The only thing is treasury bills are issued only by the union government, not even by state government. And these commercial papers are issued by business houses. Whether these business houses are owned by government, so whether they are public sector undertakings or private sector undertakings. This is one channel. Another way of getting funds. for their working capital or operational requirement is called bill discounting. So this is a very interesting phenomena. Suppose you have a business, you need money. I have a business, I also need money. Okay. So what do? I will write a bill on your name. Let us say for 1 lakh rupees. Okay. And let us say for a period of 180 days. Okay. Similarly, what does it means if I am writing a bill on your name for 1 lakh and you are accepting that bill for 6 months? It means after 6 months, whosoever produces this bill to you, you have to pay 1 lakh to the one who is submitting that bill to you. Okay. Similarly, you will also write a bill on my name, my company name, 1 lakh rupees after 6 months, and I accept it. It means whosoever produces this bill to me after 6 months, then I have to pay 1 lakh rupees to you. So, friends, understand how this works out. Your company need, let us say, 95,000. My company needs 95,000. You don't have 95,000 with you right now. I also don't have 95,000 with me right now. Instead, what do? Both of us will come to an understanding. You will write a bill on my name for 1 lakh. I will accept. I will write a bill on your name for 1 lakh and you will accept. So, I have a bill accepted by you. I will take it to my banker and produce it. So, banker says, okay, this company, X company has to pay Murthy Limited after 6 months 1 lakh. So, banker says, today I will give you only 95,000. So, I will take 95,000 from my banker. And after 6 months, my banker will produce that bill to you because yours is X Limited, which accepted. So you will pay to the banker, not to me, because this is called negotiable instrument. Negotiable means transferable. I wrote a bill on your name, but while borrowing, but while discounting bill with the banker, I transferred it on the name of the banker. Similarly, the bill which you wrote on my name, which I accepted, you will take it to your banker. So your banker sees that, okay, Murthy Limited has to pay you 1 lakh rupee after 6 months. So today your banker says, I will give you 95,000. So you will take 95,000 from the banker. And after 6 months, your banker will produce that bill to me. So now it is my obligation to pay 1 lakh rupee to your banker. So see what happened here. Today none of us have money, but with this mutual understanding, I wrote a bill on your name, you wrote a bill on my name. This is called bills of exchange. Okay. These things are promissory note, bills of exchange, check. I repeat, three instruments, only three instruments: promissory note, bills of exchange, and check. These three, only these three are known as negotiable instruments. Negotiable means transferable. Okay. Imagine if Deepavali originally comes on, let us say, Sunday, but suddenly government realizes that no, Amavasya is coming on Monday. So government declares holiday Monday as Deepavali under Negotiable Instruments Act only. This is the significance of this particular act because all these three instruments, bills of exchange, promissory note, and checks, they come with expiry date and there will be 3 days of grace period. So, if a holiday is declared under Negotiable Instrument Act, we have to add one more day to the period. If the government declares holiday but not under Negotiable Instrument Act, then we shall not add that date, which is why declaring holiday under Negotiable Instrument Act is very significant. And which three securities together known as negotiable instruments? Promissory note, bills of exchange, and checks. So I hope you all understood bills of exchange. Okay. So these are the normal sources of working capital which business organizations or any startup can explore for the purpose of meeting its operational expenditure. I will wait for 5 seconds for your queries. If you have any doubt on any of these instruments, I will clarify. Then we will proceed to the mitigation of risk for startups. Yes, friends, if you have any queries, within the next 5 seconds, you can ask me. Holiday list in Gazette is all negotiable. Yes, yes. But suddenly, look at Ramjan or Deepavali. Originally, you might be feeling that they are coming on second Saturday or Sunday. But suddenly, if they are falling on Monday, then government declares it under Negotiable Instrument Act only. Some holidays are declared not under negotiable instruments. Local holidays are not declared under Negotiable Instrument Act. Okay, if there is any urs happening in your locality, that might be a local holiday only for your district. But the district collector is authorized. District collector as first class magistrate is authorized to declare local holiday. But that does not come under Negotiable Instrument Act. Therefore, that day cannot be added. That's what I wanted to clarify. Okay. So, may I proceed to the risk minimization? So, friends, what is the very first question? What is the risk? Can anyone explain, please? In terms of business, what is the meaning of risk? Okay, just to tell you, if I jump from, let us say, height of 5 feet or 6 feet, I may break my leg. So people say, don't jump. That is risky. So in terms of business, what do we mean by risk in business? Yes, friends, for any startup or any business, what is the meaning of risk? Yes, friends,
Kindly answer, please. It's a very generic question again.
very simple, very normal. Quite often we advise people don't do this, that is risky. So for a business, what do you mean by risk?
Good afternoon, sir. Failure of business in case of business does not run successfully, that may be risk.
Very good, very good. Correct, sir. Okay, Ahmad sir, correct, and Mr. Gaurav, you are also correct. So, in business, risk means realization of lesser amount of revenue than what is anticipated or budgeted. You are expecting, as per your budget, to receive 10 lakh rupees, but you ended up receiving less than 10 lakh. That is the meaning of risk. That's it. Realization of lesser amount of returns. Okay, you might be expecting, you purchased a share. Okay, so people invested on this NTPC green energy. Any idea to at what price it got listed today? NTPC green energy issued shares to public at 108 rupees, and today it listed more than 108, 111 rupees. I think it went up to some 115 rupees also. Okay, so Risk means realization of lesser amount of funds. So, friends, now this session is all about understanding what are the elements which may cause realization of lesser amount of funds. So, once we understand these items, then it is all about an art how to deal with them. If it is a science like mathematics, 2 plus 2 is equals to 4, everybody on this planet would know how to do it. But this is an art. Therefore, it is purely individuals' excellence. But we have to understand what are the elements which cause the risk to any startup. So, friends, reasons for risk. Let us classify them as risk associated with cost of funds and then usage of funds and then market dynamics and then how to deal with them. Okay. So, what is this risk associated with the cost of funds? If you are doing a risky job, do you want lesser honorarium or compensation or higher? Yes, friends, tell me if you are looking for or if you are accepting a riskier job, something will something may cause damage to you. Then do you ask for lesser compensation or higher compensation? Yes, friends. Higher the risk, we always ask for higher compensation. So, in yesterday's session, we understood merits and demerits of shares and debt securities. In between shares and debt security, which one is less risky and which one is more risky? Yes, friends, compared to shares and debt securities, which set is less riskier? Very good, Mr. Gaurav. It is debt which is less riskier. Therefore, the supplier of debt funds ask for lesser returns when compared with supplier of equity funds, isn't it? Because your debt could be backed by a security. Shares, not at all backed by any security. Shares are always unsecured. So, if you feel, okay, I understood that if I issue shares, investors ask more returns. So, I have to give them more. But if I issue debt, then the supplier of debt asks for lesser return. So, for doing business, the best thing is to do the business by borrowing funds only, isn't it? But friends, there is a concept called financial leverage, which we have to understand here. I hope this Excel sheet is visible to all of you. Can someone respond by turning on your microphone? Is this visible to you or not, friends?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me explain what is this concept of financial leverage, how it works, what are the merits and demerits of debt. So to begin with, friends, are we on same page that supplier of debt ask for lesser return, supplier of shares ask for higher returns? Okay, this is universal because debt is less risky. So interest paid on debt is lesser. when compared with the returns paid on shares. So now let us understand that there are two companies A and B. Now how much money that both the companies need, you can see on the screen. Now you need to speak, those who are watching this, please. How much funds that both of them require? Yes, friends, let it be interactive, please.
5 lakh.
So both the companies require same amount, 5 lakh rupees, because both are doing same business in same industry. But how these 5 lakhs are arranged, there is a difference. Company A, if you look at, arranged equity capital of 4 lakh rupees. Okay, where each share is of 10 rupee. And company B arranged equity capital of 1 lakh rupee. But how much they need? 5 lakh. So company A remaining 1 lakh, it borrowed at 10% interest. Whereas company B, how much it borrowed at 10%? 4 lakh rupees. So both the companies require 5 lakh, but the way they arranged this 5 lakh, there is exactly opposite way. So how many shares are there in company A? Yes, friends, how many shares are there in company A?
40,000 shares
How come 40,000? 4 lakh shares divided by
into the
each is 10 rupees, so 40,000. Now for company B, how many shares are there? Yes, sir, please.
10 10,000, sir.
You please continue with me, okay? So
Okay, sir.
1 lakh divided by 10, 10,000.
10,000.
Now what is the interest burden of company A? How much is the loan of interest? Loan amount. 1 lakh, company A. 10% interest. So that is 10,000. But for company B, it is, yes, sir, how much it is?
40,000.
40,000 because it borrowed 4 lakh at 10%, 40,000. Imagine both are in same industry, so tax rate is 50% each. Now, what are we trying to calculate is we are trying to know something called earnings per share. Okay. In year one, how much is earnings per share, and in year two, how much it changed. Okay, so all of you please have a look at the screen, friends. So we are starting with the operating profit. Operating profit of year one of both the companies is same, isn't it? Now from this operating profit, we have to subtract interest on loan. So how much is the interest of company A? It is 10,000. And for company B, it is 40,000. So earnings before tax, how much will it be for company A? 50 minus 10, 40,000. And for company B, how much will this be, friends? Yes, please. How much will it be for company B? Earnings before tax.
10,000.
Correct. 10,000. So from this, we have to less tax at 50%. So 50% of 40,000 is 20,000. And here 50% of 10,000 is 5,000. So now we have earnings after tax. So for company A, it is 20,000, and for company B, it is 5,000. This divided by number of shares. How many shares are there for company A? 10,000, and for company B, 40,000. So now we are getting earnings per share. If the profit is divided to each and every single share, how much that these two companies, oh, sorry, number of shares are different, it is opposite. Okay, 40,000 here and 10,000 here. So how much is earnings per share? Company A, it is 50 paisa, and for company B also it is 50 paisa. So friends, very quickly I am giving you 15 seconds. Okay, take 20 seconds exactly and try to calculate earnings per share of second year. We have taken EBIT as 50,000. Now we have to take EBIT as 1 lakh for both the companies. Operating profit of both the companies was 50,000 each. Earnings per share of both the companies was also same at 50 paisa. But when operating profit of both the companies is increased to 1 lakh, what happened? Earnings per share of company A is only 1.125 and company B is 3 rupees. So what is the percentage change in operating profit for both the companies, friends? How much operating profit increased? From 50,000 to 1 lakh. What is the percentage increased? It is 100% for both the companies, isn't it? But what is the percentage change in EPS? Yes, friends. How much it is? For company A, 1.125 minus 50 paisa, 125%. And for company B, it is 3 rupees minus 50 paisa by 50 paisa. Okay. So this is 500%. Which company has lesser amount of debt? Yes, friends. Which company has lesser amount of debt? You are watching the screen, please tell me. Yes, friends. Which company has lesser amount of debt? Are you all there? Friends, just look at which company has lesser amount of debt. Is it company A or company B?
Very simple answer. Question, just answer it. All the participants, please. To the resource person. You
Friends,
can see.
company A has lesser amount of debt. Company B has higher amount as well as higher proportion of debt. As a result, if you look at company A has lesser growth in its earnings per share when compared with company B. Company B has higher growth when compared with company A. So what makes the difference here? It is the presence of debt. So taking the help of debt to maximize EPS, earnings per share, is called financial leverage. This is the beautiful story of borrowing funds and doing business. But it is a big trap as well, friends. The reason why is it a big trap? Now you can understand. Instead of 1 lakh rupee of operating profit, imagine if it is suffering with operating loss of 1 lakh rupee. Both the companies, imagine if they are having instead of operating profit, operating loss. So to this operating loss, we have to add interest, Okay, so this is the interest amount. So now we will get total loss. How much is total loss of company A? 1,10,000, whereas total loss of company B is 1,40,000. So now divide by number of shares. Okay, company A has 40,000, company B has 10,000. So now your loss per share, how much it is? For company A, it is 2.75 rupees, whereas for company B, it is 14 rupees loss per share. Now you can see that as long as companies are earning profits, the company that has higher amount of debt enjoys very high growth of earnings per share. But the moment the operating income is coming down, then the same debt works like a double-edged weapon, boomerang. It comes back and chops our head. Okay? So this is what financial leverage means, which is why even very big companies like Reliance Industries, during the time of COVID, when they understood that the time is coming to close the hydrocarbons business across the globe, they knew that their revenue from petrocarbons may come down. So they wanted to diversify their business into other areas. So they wanted to become a debt-free company. You know how much cash component that Reliance has? Reliance has close to 2 lakh crore rupees of cash. But even that sort of big company also got equity investments from Saudi sovereign fund, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. With that equity funds, it repaid all its debts. So, friends, the rosy side of borrowing funds and doing business is always good. So, people chase you the moment you start a business, put up office name. People approach you and say that, sir, take this loan, madam, take this loan on your business. We are offering it very lesser interest rate or no processing charges. Do not fall for this trap during the early days of your business, friends. Do not borrow funds and do business during your early stages, because during early stages of business, operating income will always be lesser. That is not the time to borrow. Okay? Try to get anchor investors who can stay invested in your business for a good amount of period of 4 to 5 years. When your revenues are steady and growing, that is the time to borrow. That is the time to borrow and expand, but not at the early stage. And again, as and when you are about to take a key turn into newer areas of business, you never know how quickly you will receive funds or how quickly you may not receive funds. Now, if I am not wrong, a very good number of us have seen pagers because we were quite young. We were into our teens. When we were dreamt of buying a pager, by the time we started earning money, pagers were gone from the market, replaced by cell phone. So, when your business is taking a diversification route, entering into newer business models, that is the time again to expand by equity funds only. Get more equity funds. Do not rely on debt every time. I agree, financial leverage is a beautiful concept. With the help of debt funds, your earnings per share will definitely increase. But debt is not good every time. Okay, I hope you all understood this concept of financial leverage. I will wait exactly 5 seconds for you. If you have any doubts on financial leverage, please ask me, I will clarify. Okay. The examples which I am quoting are real life. At the end, I will share my email ID. You please read articles on this. They are available on websites and the company annual reports. And anytime you can engage a conversation with me by writing a mail to me on these examples or any other examples also. This financial leverage is all about when you are sourcing funds. You need money. The question is whether you have to borrow or equity. But what about deploying funds? The funds which you have raised, now you have to invest on your business. So, friends, if you are investing on your business, either you are for your daily business operations, either you are investing on fixed cost or you are investing on variable cost. Let me explain what is the difference between these two. Fixed cost means up to certain production capacity or up to certain period, your cost is fixed. It is not proportionate with your production, number of units produced and sold. Variable cost is the one which is proportionate to the number of units produced and sold. If you produce lesser units and sell them, your variable cost is also less, total variable cost. But if you produce larger quantity, then your variable cost is also higher. Okay. So friends, what is this fixed cost? What is this variable cost? There is again one concept in finance which is called operating leverage. Taking advantage of fixed cost to maximize operating profit. I repeat, taking advantage of fixed cost to maximize operating profit. That is operating leverage. Okay. So, if you could recollect, when we were in our team, there were national level popular brands like BPL TV. Recently, its promoter passed away. Videocon company is closed now. Dianora TV. But today, if you look at our entire electronics business is dominated by all these Korean and Japanese and Chinese companies. What is the difference? Tell me, friends. Tell me why one striking simple reason for which Indian companies disappeared almost and all these East Asian companies conquered our market. What is the simple reason, friends? 1999 Cricket World Cup, I remember we purchased one BPL color TV for 21,000 rupees. In just 3 years, 2002, much better color televisions were sold by these East Asian companies for 12,000, 13,000 rupees. Indian companies could not compete with that pricing. We are all heading towards perfect competition, friends. Perfect competition means there are no entry exit barriers, large number of buyers, large number of sellers. How come these East Asian companies are able to sell the same electronic product at lesser price? Yes, friends. You know the reason, most of you know the reason. What is that? Economies of scale. Very good, Mr. Gaurav. Dr. Gaurav, it is correct. Mass production. Economies of scale. They produce more in number. How? If back then, if Indian companies have to produce more number of goods, they have to deploy more number of men, workforce. But workforce means variable cost. Whereas these East Asian companies, Instead of deploying workforce, they have conveyor belts, robots, machines. So they invested on fixed cost. So if you invest on fixed cost, your operating cost will increase. Sorry, your operating profit will increase. This is the meaning of operating leverage. So let us try to understand, going back to this financial leverage, every time earnings after tax of company A is actually more. Look at 20,000 here, 5,000. 45,000 second year, company B 30,000. But earnings per share of company B is higher. Why? A, operating profit is high, but number of shares are also higher. So now let us focus on operating leverage here. Selling price of both the companies 10 rupees. Variable cost of company A is 6. Company B is 4 rupees. Company A did not invest anything on fixed cost. Company B invested 10,000. So number of units sold year 1. Okay. So it is for both the companies 5,000 into 10 rupees, 50,000. Isn't it? From this, we have to subtract variable cost. How much is the variable cost of company A? 5,000 units into 6 rupees, 30,000. Whereas for company B, it is 20,000. So what we get after subtracting variable cost from sales is known as contribution. So contribution of A is 20,000, that of B is 30,000. From this contribution, we have to subtract fixed cost. Company A does not have any fixed cost, whereas B has a fixed cost of 10,000. Okay, so now we have EBIT, operating profit. How much it is for company A? 20,000 minus 0, it is 20,000. For company B, it is 30,000 minus 10,000, 20,000. Now, just like the financial leverage concept, here also we will do the same when both of them are selling 10,000 units each. I am giving you 10 seconds. Please tell me the operating profit of both the companies.
Forty thousand and 50,000.
Excellent, sir. Really good. So, for company A, it is 40,000, and for company B, it is 50,000. Now you can see when they were selling 5,000 units each, both of them were having 20,000 rupees as operating profit. But when the number of units are doubled, so what is the percentage change in sales for both the companies? It is 100%, isn't it? From 50,000 sales increased to 1 lakh rupees. But if we look at percentage change in their operating profit, EBIT, for company A, which does not have fixed cost, I repeat, please have a look at here, all of you friends. Company A does not have fixed cost. As a result, their change in operating profit is the same as their change in sales. On the other hand, Company which has fixed cost, that is company B, for that the change in operating profit is 125% more than growth rate in sales. So what is the difference here? What is the factor which is making difference here? It is the presence of fixed cost. This is what all the East Asian companies are following. Now, this is what China took advantage. Now, India also joined that thankfully. So, all these Western companies are now having this concept called China plus one. What is this China plus one philosophy now, which is slowly emerging among all Western countries, friends? China plus one means let us not depend only China as a single source of supplier of our goods. Let us look outside China also, which is why even company like Apple has come to India for its assembly of its mobile phones outside China, right? But friends, let us understand this operating leverage in a proper way. As I said, whether financial leverage or operating leverage, both of them work like boomerang. If we do not use them properly, they will kill us. So if only one unit is sold instead of 5,000, 10,000 units, imagine if only one unit is sold, how much revenue both the companies will get? Same 10 rupees. From this less variable cost, how much is for company A? 6. Company A? 4 rupees. So how much is contribution? For company B, for A 4 rupees, company B 6 rupees. From this we have to subtract fixed cost. Company A does not have fixed cost. Company B has 10,000. So now EBIT or operating loss for company A, straight away it is 4 rupees profit, but for company B it is a loss of 9,994. So what does this means? If you look at, when I said because company B has fixed cost, it is helping to have higher operating profit. But if you actually keenly observe, this fixed cost must result in a reduction of variable cost per unit. Company A variable cost is 6 rupees because it does not have fixed cost. Company B smartly invested on machines, robots, not on employees. So it need not pay gratuity, salary, pension, etc. As a result, its variable cost per unit came down. If you have fixed cost and also higher level of variable cost, it is nothing but suicide. So if you have fixed cost, you have to use it intelligently in reducing variable cost per unit. Only then operating leverage will work out in your favor and your operating profit will be more than the growth rate of your sales. Did you all understand this concept, friends? So any doubts on operating leverage? I'll again wait for 5 seconds. Please ask me your doubts if you have any queries. Okay, Mr. Dheeraj, thank you. Thanks for your reply. So this is all about this financial leverage and operating leverage. Now, time value of money. What is this time value of money? Yes, friends. Time value of money. Let us understand this with again with a small example. You have two projects, project A and project B. On both the projects, you made investment of 1 lakh each. Both of them will work for 5 years only. Okay, 5 years only, not beyond that. Now, company A gives you a profit of 10,000 first year, 20, sorry, okay, 10,000 first year, 20,000, 30,000 third year, 40,000 fourth year, 50,000 fifth year. Whereas company B gives you reverse 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. If you look at total 150 each. Now tell me, which project would you prefer, project A or project B? Let me explain this scenario once again. You are considering two projects. Both the projects require investment of 1 lakh each only, and both of them work exactly for 5 years. After 5 years, none of them give you any return. Company A gives you incremental profit of 10,000 every year. So it gives you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Whereas company B gives you exactly in opposite direction 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Tell me, which project is better, project A or project B? Yes, friends.
Project B.
Dheeraj sir, I'm very sorry. Project B is correct. Mr. Alok, you are correct. Why? Friends, look at project A. First year you are receiving only 10,000 as profit. If this 10,000 rupees is deposited in a bank, let us say 10%, every year you get interest of only 1,000 rupees. Whereas project B, first year itself it is giving you 50,000 profit. So if you add the interest component on this 50,000, you will get 5,000 rupees every year interest for the remaining 4 years. So time value of money means today's rupee is more value than tomorrow. If time value is not there, both of them are giving 150 total. But because of time value, project B is better. It is giving you more returns upfront. It is giving you more returns upfront so that you can deposit this in a bank and get higher amount. Okay. So this time value of money, to explain it in a very simple manner, I am asking you class, please give me 10 lakh rupees today and I will return your 10 lakh rupees after 10 years. Will you return? Will you give me that loan? No, definitely not. Why? You know that today's 10 lakh and the 10 lakh which you receive after 10 years are not same. Today's 10 lakh has more value because this 10 lakh can earn interest for next 10 years. This is the time value of money, friends. This is what the technocrats, the business people who are good in technology must understand all these small concepts of finance. Okay. So this time value of money eventually leads to larger concepts like cost of capital, etc. They are okay. So this is the next one is called sensitivity analysis. So friends, some people we say, oh, this person is very sensitive. So what do we mean when we say so and so person is very sensitive? Please tell me. Yes, friends. When do we, what do we mean when we say, oh, Murthy is very sensitive, man? What does it mean? Don't touch that issue. That is very sensitive issue. So what do we mean by that sensitive? Yes, friends. It means even for a small deviation from the actual or predicted, the final outcome will significantly change. Okay. So in sensitivity analysis, we have to do a range of different kinds of projections instead of only one single projection when we are preparing detailed project report. Friends, If we are talking about certain items while calculating profit, some of them are revenue items, some of them are cost items. Let us say price, selling price per unit is your revenue item. Number of units sold is your revenue item. But cost per unit of raw material, labor charges per hour, tax rates, these are your cost items. So, for everything, can we have very fixed price or fixed figure, only one figure while making our detailed project report? No, we generally take a range. When we sell this product in the market after 1 year, the selling price could be 30 rupees per unit to 35 rupees per unit. Similarly, the cost of raw material after, let us say, 10 months, maybe 12 rupees per unit to 12, 14 rupees per unit. Like this, we will take a range, isn't it? So, in this sensitivity analysis, we have to take lowest level of revenue item and the upper value of the cost item. So, instead of taking 35 rupees as selling price, let us take only 30 rupees as selling price. And instead of assuming that we will be able to sell 12,000 units, take only 10,000 units. But on the cost side, take the higher values. Instead of 12 rupees as raw material per unit, take 14 rupees as raw material per unit. Okay. So this way, what happens? You are taking higher cost items and lesser range of revenue items. Despite of this combination also, if you are having a positive earnings, that is operating profit, then you feel, oh, this is a safe project to enter into. So you need to do more than one. If one item changes, how my operating profit will change. This is called sensitivity analysis. Now the final one is last but one, understanding market dynamics. This is purely art. It is not science. I will give you a small scenario and see how people react. It is quite common during summer if you are traveling on a national highway, you find two persons selling mangoes. Both might have sourced, both of them started day with 2000 rupees each. Both of them went to same mango grove, purchased same amount of mangoes by paying same 2000, came onto the highway, and at a distance of 100 meters, both of them are selling. Now, both of them started selling at 100 rupees. To beat the competition, you reduce the price to 90 rupees. You might have purchased at 50 rupees per kilo, both of you, but you have reduced the selling price from 100 to 90 rupees. What will your competitor does? Now your competitor reduce the price to 85 rupees. Again, to beat the competition, you reduce the price to 70 rupees. Now what will your competitor does? Tell me, friends. Both of you purchased 50 rupees a kilo. You started selling in a perfect market at 100 rupees. But because of competition, you reduced it to 90. The other fellow reduced it to 85. You suddenly went crazy and reduced it to 70. What the other person will do now? Alok sir, not 65. Perfect market competition hai na? That person will buy every single mango from you at 70 rupees So you will not have any mangoes with you, and then he will start selling them each again at 85 rupees. You will be aghasted. This is perfect market competition, which is why everybody is forced to sell at same price. This is how smartly, cleverly people operate for a market. This is what I mean to say, understand market dynamics. Understand whether you are in monopoly. Gone were the days of monopoly business. Only LIC, only Air India, only railways, only government owned RTC. Gone. Only for PSU banks. Gone were the days of duopoly. We were giving in MBA classes examples of duopoly. Oh, only Airbus and Boeing. Now from Brazil, third company is started manufacturing, passenger aircrafts. Soon, probably in India also, you may start. Oligopoly might be still in existence, but slowly we are moving towards perfect market competition to attract large amount of investments in every industry, friends. Look at the scenario today in defense sector, which we have protected for so many years. Now we open for private players. Space program is open for private players now. Only atomic energy is still in India. We keep it only for public. But otherwise, almost no protection for any industry now. Slowly, we are moving towards perfect market competition. So, the biggest mistake that most of the technocrats do while starting new businesses, especially during the early stage of their business, is they are too much focused on the product development. But they have to understand the market dynamics also. Friends, who is the inventor of computer? Charles Babbage. Is Charles Babbage is the one who made millions and billions of money? No, people who know how to commercialize that. It is the Dell, it is Bill Gates, they made it. Okay? Thomas Alva Edison was really good not only at invention, even at commercialization also, which is why he started GE General Electric and made a moolah. So it is not just only the technological advancement of your product and the technological part of your business. The market structure is what you have to understand, which is very dynamic, which is why I said in risk mitigation, it is not science. Had it been science, it is same for everyone. Everyone understands, everyone does it same way. It is not. It is purely art, which is why people have to keep their ego aside. Get more investors, equity investors, let experts come in who are good in analyzing market, take the help of market analysis, packages, software, do your business. Okay, this is one. And at the last, use of specialized services to reduce cost. Friends, around 10-15 years ago, if someone started a business, is it not mandatory to maintain accounts? Well, to pay tax, it is mandatory. We need to maintain accounts. So, daily we will come to know our cash position, our balance sheet position, quarterly income statements, and all. Today, do you require to have an accountant with you, a chartered accountant with you sitting in your company? No. There are so many cloud packages available. You just appoint one person who is good in data entry. Buy the package. Just simply enter the values. That cloud package system will give you all your financial reports, your income position, your financial position, your balance sheet, cash projections, everything. Pay hardly 500 rupees per year. The one another very significant thing where the technocrats are not able to deal with is the compliance. They always think from the point of view of product orientation. They feel that if my product and service are better, market will buy it. True, no doubt in it. But the moment you are entering into business model or company setup, or for that matter, any structure, whether it is LLP, partnership firm, unknowingly you are entering into so many compliances issues. Time bounded. Before expiry of particular date, you need to submit this document. So these technocrats at some point of time, instead of focusing on their business development, they are forced to focus on these compliance issues. So this is where they need to take specialized service help like company secretaries. These company secretaries are the people who have expertise in all sort of compliances. So hire, don't appoint, hire a good company secretary who might be sitting anywhere in India but well connected with you through internet, get their services, do all the compliances, pay just fees, need not pay salary, so that you can keep focusing on your product and business development. Okay, so this is what, again, ego shall not come into the brain of the techno entrepreneur. If techno entrepreneur feels that I am the sole proprietor, I am the master of the product, so I must know all financial analysis and I must know all compliances. I will do everything on my own. It means, brother or madam, you are unnecessarily spending your valuable time on these compliances and analysis part. You are here to produce product, develop it, sell it, make business. So leave these expertise issues to experts who are there in the market. They will charge some amount, pay it. You need not appoint them. Just hire their services, do your businesses. Thank you.